What's up, guys? It's Undead here, again with another Shadowlands beta video, and today we're talking about legendaries. This week's build, they've pushed the ability to obtain both legendaries and conduits. I'll talk about those briefly, but mostly legendaries. So we know how to get them, or we know some of the ways to get them. We obviously haven't found all of them. I know where 3 are currently for Rogue. Keeping like a list of all the other classes that I'll release once I have more information on everything, and for sure know how we're getting stuff. So the first way to get legendaries is PvP. If we come over here to the PvP vendors, now the PvP vendors are a little scuffed, so it's possible that this doesn't go live, but I think some form of this will go live. So if we go to the Conquest vendor here, we'll see for Shadowlands PvP Honor, you can buy 1 legendary per class, I believe this is. There's 10 here, 12... 13? I don't know why there's 13, but anyways, maybe there's 2 for Druid here. These each have the name, like the name of the base, that corresponds with the legendary. So the names that I know are obviously the Rogue ones. So I know this is Invigorating Shadow Dust, which is the Vanish reduces the cooldown on your other stuff. When you cast Vanish, it reduces the cooldown of your other abilities. So this is available. You can purchase this with PvP Honor. We can't obtain PvP Honor currently, as far as I know, in beta, so this will just sit here for now. That's fine, but this is just giving us an idea of you can, or you may have to, farm through a little bit of PvPing. How much is 1500 honor? We don't know either. I guess this is the 13th. Cephas is the 13th, so you'll have 1 per class, and then Cephas will also be available through honor. So that's it. This is deterministic. You get this recipe, and then you go craft your legendary, which I'll show you in a second. And then secondly, the way we found them is they just drop, and they drop from specific bosses, so they are targetable. So for example, this is a Memory of Celerity. This is the legendary for Outlaw Rogue, which is basically Vision of Perfection Major, where you have a chance while Slice and Dice is active to proc, I think it's 3 seconds of Adrenaline Rush. So this specifically drops from the second boss in the dungeon Spires of Ascension. It doesn't drop anywhere else, so if you decide, well, we haven't found anywhere else it drops, but we've had multiple cases across other rogues that I'm talking to along the way with this, where this dropped off the same boss for us. Now, Spires is only available on Normal and Heroic. I got mine to drop on Heroic, and I believe one of the other rogues I talked to got his to drop on Normal, so it seems to be difficulty agnostic. It doesn't care. Mythic Zero, when that opens up, I'm sure we'll drop it as well. And then potentially could be looted in Mythic Plus caches as well. We don't know. Mythic Plus is not out yet. So maybe the end of dungeon box can drop a legendary as well if you do the correct dungeon for the legendary that you're looking for. So what does this do for me now that I have it? So what you do when you find this legendary is you go to the Rune carver, which I showed a little bit in the Torghast video. If you guys remember the Torghast video, a little off to the side. Before you go to the actual content of Torghast, there's a man's named the Rune carver. Now when we get here, I'm not actually going to learn this yet because we've heard of them being bugged, and until I'm ready to craft my legendary, which will be the next step, I'm not going to learn this, but I'll show you where he is, and I'll show you the pieces that you need to craft it. So you need this, you need to learn the legendary, and then there's 3 things that you need. And one of them I will show you. I'll log over to my leatherworker. Oh, and speaking of conduits as well, while I'm running to the Rune carver, also drop from specific bosses. So this, for example, Deeper Daggers for Subtlety drops off the 3rd boss in Halls of Atonement? I think it was. I don't have my list up right now, but they all are deterministic. They drop off the same boss. So if you want to just slam the same boss on freaking Normal all day trying to get it, go for it, dude, and eventually you'll have it. So after you learn this, and this is currently bugged right now, so I'm not going to learn it. You come over to this boy, and when you click on this circular pattern, the circle shows you your legendaries. Now you can't go to page 2 because, again, the system is bugged right now. It is beta. This has not been live for long, and I bet there's very few people interacting with it yet, just because I've been slamming trying to get this, and I found 2 recipes, and I just finished farming enough mats for half of my base. So there's a bit involved of grinding. But anyways, you'll see your list of legendary powers. So this slot is where you choose a legendary power. The center is where your base goes, which I'll show you when I log into my leatherworker. And then these 2 slots are for items that determine the stats. So you'll have a middle slot that's made by either tailoring, blacksmithing, or leatherworking. These will be bind on equip, so you do not need to be a blacksmith, leatherworker, or tailor. If you just want to farm gold instead, you can buy these bases from other players, which I'm sure are good. I'm sure there's going to be players just spam farming the shit out of bases because they're going to be extremely lucrative early in the expansion with everybody trying to put their legendaries together. And will likely continue to be as well, which I'll show you when I log to the leatherworker. Why people are going to continue to craft more of these bases as we progress. And then these 2 slots, these items are made through inscription. So inscription makes, I don't know the exact name, but it's like missive or something of crit, missive of verse, of mastery, of haste, and you pick one of each. You can't double stack, so you can't do like mastery and mastery, but you pick your 2 stats that are on your legendary. And then each legendary has 2 slots that it can go in, and it says here, so for example, Mark of the Master Assassin, I would need to craft either a ring or a finger, finger being ring, wrist or finger, finger being ring. Oh, and jewel crafting as well. So blacksmithing, leatherworking, tailoring, and jewel crafting for rings and necklaces. So let me log over to my leatherworker. Let me leave the Torghast Rune Carver's room. So that's where you come. You learn it here, and then you come to make it here. But now you have to collect your items. It has a little bit of a similar vibe to now I don't play Diablo, but I do play PoE, where you have to find your good base and then you craft on it with other items that you find. It has a similar vibe to that. A little bit less grindy and random and much more deterministic, but I thought this was an in, but I guess not. We'll wait the 20 seconds. Here we go. Here we go. Alright, so we come to Undead. I've learned leatherworking on this guy. I know it's a Death Knight. It's freaking weird, but I don't want to drop skinning or enchanting on the dude I'm playing the most right now, so I picked up leatherworking on this boy. And I don't know if they're going to put restrictions, but currently you can craft all this stuff at level 51. So as long as you roll an alt through the maw, which is the intro scenario, you'll be able to have like an alt that's just like your mule to do like leatherworking or tailoring or blacksmithing or whatever without feeling like you have to level it up. So we look at leatherworking. Now these patterns are going to be made available at level 100. Currently on beta because there's some difficulties in leveling professions. The Rune Carver just gives you all the recipes. But here's where you see specialized armor, and then this is each slot. This is all the mail stuff that requires pallid bones and enchanted heavy desolate hide. And then you have the leather stuff, which is desolate leather and the enchanted heavy desolate hide. So the heavy desolate hide is obviously the rarest of the leather that's available. And then this combined with enchanting materials turns it into that. So like all the professions, it's actually I think pretty eloquent how they made professions relevant again. Especially with all this stuff being BOE instead of attaching like combat bonuses or you get a socket on this piece of gear if you craft it for yourself. Like I think this is a really nice way to make professions relevant throughout the expansion because you're going to constantly be wanting to upgrade your legendaries as we go on too. And you'll see here, rank 1, this will level up. Now I don't know what the results of, I don't know that rank 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know how high it will go, and I don't know what the results will be as far as like if it's item level, because here it just says changing this selection will alter the required reagents and improve the outcome of the crafted item's quality level. We assume it'll be higher item level. Maybe it gets an extra bonus on it or something like that. Maybe you'll be able to put a socket in it at a certain rank. But you gain XP by crafting more. So it is a legitimate way to play the game and just farm tons of gold by just being a leather worker. And you are just the man that levels up the ranks. Because it's going to be pretty tedious to make multiples of these bases if you don't need them for your character, right? So that's I know a lot of people were sad that professions don't really exist in a meaningful way right now, but I think this gives a way for people that want professions to mean something, and that's like their way of having fun with the game. This looks like a very cool way of them doing that. So I'm really happy with this. And it makes Legendaries deterministic. I think it's sick. I think the whole system's sick. This is one they nailed. Obviously, I have my complaints about Covenants and the AoE cap and everything, but I think the Legendary system itself, they nailed. And then that's it. Now you have your Legendary. You just go make it. You get one of these, you grind out the mats, you go back to the Rune Carver, you talk to him, you put the mats in, you pick your stats, you pick the Legendary, assuming that you found it, and now you have your Legendary. So our assumption is, my assumption is at least, that there's going to be one Legendary for each spec and one generic Legendary from dungeons. I think there will probably be the same from PvP or some sort of PvP activity. Probably the same from Raid. And then the fourth one, I don't know, because there's 4 for each, right? There's 4 from 4 for sub, 4 for assassination, 4 for outlaw, 4 generics. So whether or not they put them all in dungeons, we'll see. I'm going to continue to just grind dungeons on stream. That's kind of what I've just been skinning and doing dungeons for the past 48 hours. So if you're interested in that, I'll be live later today. Just slamming dungeons, trying to find where all this stuff comes from. I found so far the Outlaw one, the Celerity that we talked about from the second boss in Spires. And then I also found Duskwalker's Patch, which is the reduced cooldown on Vendetta for every energy that you spend for Assassination. That one drops from the second boss in Mists of Tyrannus Scythe. And found a few conduits as well from different bosses that you can see here. Triple Threat, Deeper Daggers, and Perforated Veins. I have these marked down where they come from. I can't remember. And a lot of the rogue community has also found some other stuff in other dungeons I just haven't seen drop yet. So that's it. I'm curious what you guys think about the Legendary system. I think it's awesome. I think it's the best system that they've implemented into Shadowlands I've seen so far. Obviously, the gameplay of a lot of stuff and the Covenant abilities is really cool. The lack of swapping in the system is an issue to me, but I think this Legendary system they've nailed. I think it's going to be really good for all players. Players at the high end are going to feel like they have deterministic crafts. Players that play more casually and like to do professions and do skinning and really like get involved in their character that way have like an end game out. Like that's like something for you to do end game with a meaningful reward in return on your time investment. So I think it's great. Curious what you guys think. And please let me know too if you guys are on beta and you find any drops. Let me know where you find stuff across all classes. I'm trying to put together a list of all the classes so I can help the guys at Wowhead help the rest of everybody out, because obviously they have quite a bigger scope than I do and who they're able to reach. Yeah, if you liked the video, hit me with a like and subscribe to the channel if you want me to see more videos in the future. I'm hoping to do some normal raid testing this week to finally see the raid bosses, because I've been skipping out on all the other testings because I just CBA with the anxiety of having an hour to test a boss. Like I just want to like casually go in there and see stuff. So that'll be sometime this weekend. More Dungeon Slams this weekend. Check me out on Twitch as well. Twitch.tv/undadtv. And I'll see you next time. Peace.